boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, we were working on the showcase of the independents. I have 3 companies left, and we're going to go ahead and run through those. Next up, we have the National Wrestling Alliance, the NWA. Yes, the NWA at one time was one of the biggest wrestling companies in the world. Over the years, they have kind of changed the way they do things. They've been around since 1948. At one point in time, every major company besides AEW has worked with the NWA. TNA worked with them, WWE worked with them, WCW worked with them. The current inclusion of NWA began in 2017 when Billy Corgan bought the company. Originally, again, 1948, how far it dates back to. The current championships that they use, they have the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship, the Sweet Charlotte 10 pounds of gold. Currently champion is Tyrus. They have the NWA World Women's Championship. Camille currently holds that. The NWA World Junior Championship, Junior Heavyweight title is held by Kerry Morton. The NWA World Tag Team titles are held by Lala Rebellion, Bestie 666, and Mecha Wolf. The NWA Television Championship is currently held by Jordan Clearwater. The NWA National Championship is held by Scion. And then the NWA World Women's Tag Team Championships are held by Pretty Empowered, Ella Envy, and Kenzie Page. And then the NWA United States Tag titles are held by the Country Gentlemen, AJ Kazana and Anthony Andrews. That title actually recently changed hands on NWA Power Live, which was aired on their Facebook page. Going into 2023, the champions were the Fixers, Jay Bradley and Ricky Moligursky. This title was actually resurrected in 2022 at the NWA 76th shows in St. Louis. I believe that's the 76th when that took place. NWA 74. My bad. I know it seems like here recently in 2023, they've kind of changed up the way they've done some of their TV tapings. They had one beginning of the year, and then they had the Live Power, and they did a USA off of that. They've both been on YouTube, nothing on Fight TV. They have a pay-per-view coming up in a week, NWA Enough Stuff or something like that, and that will be on Fight TV, part of their subscription service on there. If you are new to that, if you go to Fight TV and look up their shows, you can get all their shows, all the pay-per-views on Fight TV for like $49, $49.50. That's actually not a bad price if you do the bundle versus buy each and their individual ones. But yeah, so over the 2022 year, there was 428 matches for the NWA. I'm going to go ahead and run down the best 22 matches. Now, a lot of their matches were short, so really 3 1/4 and 3 1/2 are legit the best. It looks like about half and half. So the first set of matches here, the first 5 of those 22, all came from NWA 74. The pre-show, we had a submission match, Doug Williams versus Red Titus. That match actually ended in a time limit draw. I give it 3 1/4. From day 1 of NWA 74, we had the NWA World Tag Titles on the line. We had champions La Rebellion, Bestie 666, and Mecha Wolf went up against Hawks RE, Luke Hawks and his dad PJ. Lala Rebellion retained their tag titles. From NWA 74 day 2, we had 2 out of 3 falls. We had Kobe Carino and Caprice Coleman. Kobe Carino won that 3 1/4. On day 2, we had the MWA, yes, Major League Wrestling National Openweight Championship was on the line on an NWA show. MLW on NWA. Champion Davey Richards going up against Thrillbilly Cyrus. Davey Richards retaining his title 3 1/4. Also from day 2, we had Nick Aldis versus Flip Gordon. Nick Aldis got the victory 3 1/4. The next 4 came from NWA Always Ready on June 11th. We had 2 NWA junior heavyweight titles. We had champion Homicide going up against PJ Hawks. Homicide retained his title. And then a cash-in for a #1 contender match from Kobe Carino. So we had Kobe Carino versus Homicide in another 3 1/4 star match. Also, we had Tom Latimer versus Cyron. Tom Latimer got the victory. I gave it 3 1/4. From the same show, Always Ready, we had NWA World and Women's Champion Camille going up against Kylan King. Camille getting the victory, 3 1/4 star match. From their show Hard Times in New Orleans on November 12th, we had Kerry Morton versus NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion Homicide. This is actually the match where Kerry Morton became Junior Heavyweight Champion, 3 1/4 star match. On episode of Power Trip Part 2, which was NWA Power Season 7, Episode 10, Episode Overall 58, March 1st, we had Anthony Mayweather going up against NWA National Heavyweight Champion Chris Adonis. Anthony Mayweather, formerly known as Crimson, became the NWA National Champion in a 3 1/4 star match. The next 3, 10, 9, and 8, all came from NWA 74. We had NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion Homicide going up against Kerry Morton. Homicide retaining his title in a 3 1/2 star match. NWA World Women's Championship on the line, Camille versus Tyler Vackery. Camille retaining her title, 3 1/2 star. We had the United States Tag Team titles on the line in a Battle Royal match. So all the teams in the Battle Royal had a shot at winning the tag titles here. And we had a bunch of those. We had the Fixers, Jay Bradley, Ricky Ball-Legursky. We had Gold Rush, Jordan Clearwater, Marshall Rocket. We had Hawks R.E., Luke Hawks, PJ Hawks. Lala Rebellion, Bestie 666, Mecha Wolf. Rough and Ready, Devin Graves, and Dante. We had Team Ambition, Camaro Jackson, and Mike Outlaw. We had the Country Gentlemen, AJ Gazans, and Anthony Andrews. We had the Ill Begotten, Alex Taylor and Jeremiah Plunkett. We had the Miserably Faithful, Gags the Gimp, and Sal the Pow. We had the Now, Hal Collins, and Vic Dullish. We had the OGK, the Original Kingdom, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett. And we had the Spectaculars, Brady Pierce and Rush Freeman, and the Fixers. This is the match where they brought back the NWA United States Tag Team titles. 3 1/2 star match. That was actually a pretty good match. The next match, both 3 1/2 star. Both actually came from NWA Always Ready. We had the NWA World Tag titles on the line. We had the Commonwealth Connection of Doug Williams and Harry Smith going up against the champions, Lala Rebellion of Bestie 666 and Mecha Wolf. The Commonwealth Connection, Doug Williams and Harry Smith got the victory there, 3 1/2 star. And then we had a Fatal 4-Way, the main event of Always Ready. Fatal 4-Way, Trevor Murdoch, Nick Aldis, Sam Shaw, currently known as Dexter Loomis, and Tom Lattimore for the NWA Sweet Charlotte 10 pounds of gold. Trevor Murdoch won it and eventually lost it to current champion Tyrus. At Hard Times in New Orleans, the MLW National Heavyweight title, champion Davey Richards versus Kobe Carino. We had Davey Richards winning it in the 3 1/2 star match. The Always Ready pay-per-view was actually named after Matt Cardona, and because of injury, he wasn't able to participate. The next 3 came from shows that they split up, part of their Power series. It was Power Trip Part 3. It actually aired on March 8th, part of Power Season 7, Episode 11. Nick Aldis and Tom Lattimore in an I Quit match. They actually were part of a tag team together, part of a faction, and that faction blew up. And here we go. I Quit, Nick Aldis, Tom Lattimore. Nick Aldis getting the victory in a 3 1/2 star match. He's actually someone I'm surprised that hasn't showed up in AEW or WWE yet, because Nick Aldis is one hella talented wrestler, or even Impact for all that matters. Next up, from Power Trip 2 Part 1, which was part of Season 8, Episode 9, overall Episode 66 of Power. We had Sion and Alonzo, and Sion getting the victory, 3.5. And then the Revolution Rumble Part 1 from November 15th. We had Aldoson versus Ryan Davidson, and Aldoson getting the victory in a 3.5-star match. And then the last two both came from the Crockett Cup 2022. We had the NWA World Junior Heavyweight title on the line in a fatal 4-way. Homicide, Austin Aries, Kobe Carino, and Darius Lockhart, and Homicide becoming your Junior Heavyweight Champion in a 3.5-star match. And then the best match of NWA 2022 was the Crockett Cup Finals. The Briscoes, the late Jay Briscoe and his brother Mark Briscoe, going up against the Commonwealth Connection, Doug Williams and Harry Smith. The Briscoes, part of their hell run in 2022 in pro wrestling, getting the victory in the main event of the Crockett Cup 2022 in a 3.5-star match. Those are the best matches of 2022 for the NWA, National Wrestling Alliance. As we've got two more left on the Showcase of the Independents during 2023, probably around July-ish, halfway through the year. Some of the top companies will do some best of, and then again in January of next year, we'll have a whole new crop of Showcase of the Independents and showcasing independent pro wrestling. If you've never seen an independent pro wrestling show, yeah, NWA, they're a big company, but they're not as mainstream as they once were, like WWE, AEW, New Japan. So when I look at pro wrestling, in my book, WWE, AEW, and New Japan, those are the top three. They're up here. We have Impact Wrestling. They're kind of like, they're an independent company, but they're not, kind of. You can look at the big three and everyone else, the big four. I say NWA falls in like the everyone else kind of deal. Now, can they get back to relevance where they're one of the big ones? Yeah, they definitely can. Anybody can be there. You just got to have a TV contract. You got to put on some banger of matches, and you just got to have the, machine behind it. And right now, NWA is not quite there, but they're getting better. They're better than they have been in the past. I'll put it that way. But that is the best of NWA 2022. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show, and don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.